I was like, yeah, I do kind of like that. And so then I was like, yeah, girl, it's morphin' time. And I really thought she was going to be like, may the power be with you. But instead she was like, you're an idiot. And sometimes I wonder, like, does she regret getting married to me? I don't know. Probably not.
Welcome to the OmniDog and TBone show. I'm OmniDog. That was TBone telling a very funny story.
You did it to me again, but I'm not even mad because today we're talking about one of my favorite comic books and properties of all time.
And you have a mini fridge in your office now. What are you drinking right there?
Right now I'm drinking IBC cream soda.
Ah, nice. That's a good cream soda.
A good, solid follow-up. Not a Jones, but it's pretty flipping good.
Jones is great.
Jones got that real cane sugar in it, and it is top notch.
Yeah. Speaking of top notch, let's take a look at your shirt.
Oh man, I got this sweet Power Ranger shirt. I've been waiting. I got this shirt just for the show. Been waiting to wear it. So you got the morphing lightning hitting the Power Ranger symbol and then splitting into all the colors, all the Ranger colors. And you can kind of see, if I get close, you can see all the different animals, like the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Extremely awesome. Might be my current favorite shirt that I own. So pretty stoked to have it and get to show it off today.
Yeah, very much so. Today, when we talk about how in the world a 60-year-old man get talked into reading Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book 1, but book 2.
Oh man,
year 2. How did it happen?
Can I just tell the story really quick?
Yeah.
Of how it happened?
Sure.
You and I were chatting one day, and I was like, hey man, you got to read Power Rangers. It's serious. It sounds stupid, but it's really good. Like I give it my seal of approval. And you're like, there's no way I'm reading it. Volume 1's badly out of print. Like I'll never get it. And I said to you, if I can find you Volume 1 for undercover, will you buy it? And you laughingly said, I'll do it right away. And it just so happened to be the day that they had reprinted it. And I don't think you were aware of that.
I was not.
And so I sent you the link immediately. And there it was. And you were like, crap, I guess I'll do it because I'm a man of my word.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds exactly how it happened. And then you got me so into it. When Shattered Grid came up on ISP, I'm like in the middle of the golf course and I'm supposed to take my shot. I'm like on my phone going, okay, hang on 1 second. I just got to order this thing. I'll be right there. Hang on. And I'm like playing with my phone and trying to order it. And it took me like 5 minutes. And my partner's like, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be playing golf out here. Let's go. And I go, it's Shattered Grid. It's going to sell out.
You're like, sorry, guys. I got to buy the Power Rangers book. Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Speaking of Power Ranger books, so we're going to go over 1 and 2 today. And I've got just a few of the other Volume 1 editions. And by a few, I mean, I think all of them. Or near about.
Like the local comic book store day one?
So I've got this, the original print of this. And then I've got the local comic book store day 2-pack.
Wait, let me highlight you so they can see that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's nice. It's in like a, it's kind of like a slipcase. Like it's got this nice bind right here, but this is actually like very papery. So it's not like a hardcover slipcase. It's just a soft slip. And the covers you can see are a little bit different. Not much different, but it's a little bit different.
Enough different that you bought it.
Absolutely. Both covers are different. And here on the back, we've got Jason, the Red Ranger, with his with the gold shield, the Green Ranger shield, which we also saw happen in the series. And then Omar actually got me that one. No, I'm sorry. Gabe got me that one. Wow. Almost gave Omar way too much credit. Gabe got me that one from his comic book store, which is awesome. And then Tyler Chu, yeah, this is accurate this time. Tyler Chu got me the New York Comic Con variant. The all black with a Dragon Zord Power Coin variant.
Wow.
And then this is my absolute favorite one. My favorite variant of all. I will never part with this. The San Diego Comic. Well, it originally was a San Diego Comic-Con, and then I don't remember. It made its way to one other convention, I think. But it is the year one Lord Draken hardcover slipcase.
Wow.
And it's limited to, I believe, 500.
Whoa. So that's a real rare book.
Yeah, 500 only printed. They're all individually numbered and signed. This is one of this is up there with my Usagi one in terms of books that I value and treasure. And so I absolutely love that book. And of course, I got Shattered Grid here as well. And before we get started, I wanted to just show off to you, Jess, and to the viewers at home, some of these awesome Hasbro action figures.
Okay, just a sec.
These are every bit as good as the Marvel Legends. This is, do you remember Psycho Green from the book?
Yep.
Psycho Red and Psycho Blue.
I remember Psycho Green. He had his own miniseries in one of these.
He did. It was kind of freaking dark.
Yeah.
And then look at this, dude. You got to get these figures. Look at that. That's legit. And then, of course, Lord Draken himself.
Now, I haven't been exposed to him yet, have I?
Yeah, Lord Draken is the evil Tommy Oliver.
Oh, that guy. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the evil Tommy Oliver.
Right, from the alternate world.
Right, the alternate world future green/white ranger.
Right, okay.
So cool. What a great figure. I could not believe they actually made this figure.
Do they have a figure of Rita Repulsa?
Not yet. They have a figure of a few of the villains, but I would love a Rita figure. That's going to be sick.
I'm on record as saying, if they make a Rita Repulsa figure, I will get it.
It's got to be done. She's a great character. All right. So let's jump in.
Okay.
We're going to
talk into it, and I read it, and these are big books.
They are big.
Very well constructed. No gutter loss at all.
Mm.
Beautiful glossy pages. These are actually, I mean, just based on book quality, these are fantastic books.
Absolutely. Premium quality books. Yeah, they just look great. And you can actually see here on the book, you see all the white part?
Yeah.
That's almost all of that is the variant covers.
Right. And there's a ton of them.
So there's a ton of art in this book. So that's a part of what you're paying. I'm going to say each book has probably 16 to 17 issues in it.
That sounds right.
When you factor in the back, there's 12 issues of the main series, and then they've got some mini-series issues, and then covered. But I mean, just look at these awesome alternate covers. That's cool. We'll get to the art in a little bit, but man, I love that. So for longtime Power Ranger fans, people who grew up on this, they will realize that this comic series does not start where the show series started. So the TV show series actually started the day that all 5 Rangers became Power Rangers, before the Green Ranger was ever introduced to the series. And they had quite a few episodes of just those 5 Power Rangers before they introduced the Green Ranger that was Rita's guy, just like in the comics and everything. And it was an interesting place to start, I thought, in the book. So the story picks up with the day after the Green Ranger has been broken from Rita's spell. So we actually don't get any content of the Green Ranger fighting the Power Rangers as evil Green Ranger, not the regular Green Ranger at least. And we go through this first book right here, just as kind of an overview for the story. It's Tommy kind of trying to fit in with a team that he was formerly enemies with and feeling out of place, and like he doesn't belong, and he's seeing these hallucinations or visions of Rita Repulsa, trying to shake off her mind control. And we end up getting Scorpina and the Power Rangers fight, and she comes back to the command center. She gets captured. There's a big explosion in the command center, and she's gone. There is somebody mysteriously working with Rita Repulsa to take out the Power Rangers, and it's this Black Dragon character. And none of this, by the way, was in the show. Like the Black Dragon, Lord Draken, Evil Tommy, none of that was in the show, the alternate universe. But this Black Dragon is working with Rita to destroy the Power Rangers, and what you discover is it's being remote controlled from an alternate dimension version of Evil Tommy Oliver, who what we find is never actually joined up with the Power Rangers and became good. So this actually ends, this book ends with Tommy and Billy getting transported to the alternate universe. There's an explosion. All the people think they're dead. They're transported to the alternate universe. Oh, and right before that, I really thought it was cool that the Power Rangers lost their ability to morph, the Black Dragon.
Yeah.
And they all used the Green Ranger's ability, and so they all turned into Green Rangers, which was kind of cool.
Because they had his coin?
Yeah, they used his coin to access the morphing grid.
Right.
And they all were able to morph into Green Rangers. It was, see there, kind of cool. Now, so that's an overview of the first book story. What did you think about it?
Well, I will say I knew, as with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I knew absolutely nothing about Power Rangers. I had a daughter, and so I could probably tell you more about My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake than I can tell you about Power Rangers. Never watched the show, never read a book. I know nothing about them. This was surprisingly easy to get into. Going in completely cold. And I attribute that to Kyle Higgins, who's starting to be one of my up-and-coming writers.
Absolutely.
Since he wrote Hadrian's Wall, and he wrote something else really great, and I'm just blocking on it. I think he wrote Cowl. I found it to be, I thought the art was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked, it still has that trope of teenagers trying to do homework and not making it home in time for different stuff. And I'm always wondering, what are these parents thinking?
Where are the parents? Yeah.
What's going on here? But they do feature the parents when the Power Rangers disappear. I found it fun. I really enjoyed it. It didn't get too deep. It's not a deep philosophical book, but you don't always need one of those. I mean, I've got House of X and Powers of 10 for some deep read about, the X-Men, or Are You Listening by Tilly Walden. I mean, I can go into those and get my deep thoughts graphic novel, but this is just this is something you sit down with and just want to have fun with it and enjoy it and just let it sort of wash over you, that you are experiencing the Power Rangers, which I never thought I would do, but I really enjoyed it.
I think that just speaks volumes, like you said, to Kyle Higgins, who talked about, actually, there's a couple cool letters in the book. One of the things I really appreciated, one of them was a foreword in this book by the Green Ranger, the actual actor who played the Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver. The actor's name is Jason David Frank. And he talked about just his love for the character and how he got the role, and kind of the journey of the Green Ranger. And that actor and that character, Tommy Oliver, is the greatest Power Ranger out of all, 15, however many seasons of the show they've done, iterations. He's by far the greatest Ranger. He's been featured in the most shows, And you actually like he came back. This is just more TV show history, but he actually came back like 10 years after the show, after his role in the show ended, for another season of Power Rangers where he played the same character, just a lot older.
Oh.
And it was really cool. But he talked about in that forward how when he got cast, he was cast in a 10 episode role, which was Evil Ranger, new guy at school, gets freed, breaks the spell by Rita, and then that's it. That was what it was originally supposed to be. And that was the entire character of the Green Ranger in its original creation. And what happened was when that's how it aired. And when that happened, kids and parents of kids all across the country wrote into Saban and they were like, how could you do this? My child won't go to school. He's so upset over the fact that the Green Ranger's not on the show anymore. Like, you can't do that. And the actor who played Tommy had actually been cast as the lead role in, I believe, a show that was called VR Troopers, which was another show that was made in Japan that they were repurposing in America, made by Saban, the people who made Power Rangers. And because of all the fan backlash, they were like, all right, well, I guess we got to bring the character back. So they brought the Green Ranger back and made him a series regular, made him a good guy and joined the team. And another actor got the lead role in VR Troopers, which lasted all of like one season and didn't get renewed and was terrible. So it worked out for everybody. And now we get an awesome comic based off of that. And I was trying to say that because in this, Kyle Higgins, the author, writes about how he's had this vision and dream for like 5 years before it actually happened. He and a buddy had just been like dreaming about making Power Rangers a serious property and about like what stories they could do. And they would just like chat all the time about the fun ways they could take the characters. And so it's really a testament to his vision and his writing style that it's accessible and enjoyable to non-Power Ranger fans.
Yeah, which is accessible is exactly the right word, I would think. Hey, there's Mr. Awesome, and Kara Casanova has a question that I don't even know the answer to.
So does the actor who played Jason, whose name is Austin St. John, hate the Tommy actor, whose name is Jason David Frank? They did have some beef. It's my understanding that they were both kind of child stars and they both were very popular, but the Green Ranger became the ultimate breakout from the show, even though the Red Ranger was the leader of the team. Right. And in real life, I think that bred a little jealousy from the actor who played the Red Ranger. And there was some behind the scenes stuff also that happened with the show that was kind of wild. This is more than anybody probably wants to know, but they actually had 3 Rangers quit middle of a season. I believe it was the 3rd season because they weren't getting paid very much. And these 3 specific Rangers, the Red Ranger, Black Ranger, and Yellow Ranger, were not getting paid like even SAG rates or something like that. And they were SAG members, the Screen Actors Guild union members. So they just walked out. And they filmed the entire rest of the season without replacing them on the show. They just had body doubles, leftover audio footage, and only shot them from the back and in their morphed versions. Is that not crazy? Just like 10 episodes. Never knew it as a kid.
You are a fount of knowledge about Power Rangers. I had no idea. You're an obsessed guy.
It's very true. I am. So that's the long and short of it is, though, now Kara, they've been a lot more friendly. They've been at conventions together. They've even done a panel together. And I think they mostly just grew up, you know. They mostly were just like, all right, we're professionals. Let's move forward.
Yeah. Getting back to the book, I liked virtually all of it. It's still got that, you know, the teenage thing with the teenage problems, and which appeals to me. There wasn't really enough angst from the teenagers. They're all pretty wholesome, which I guess is why they got picked as Power Rangers. Yep. But I liked the science fiction-y aspect of it. It was solidly interesting science fiction. And I have to say, I mean, I didn't even know. I just thought they were Power Rangers. I didn't know they had. I didn't know they had things that. Do they turn into those things, or do they operate those things?
The Zords, they operate the Zords, so they just kind of teleport in, and they're like giant mechs.
Okay, I didn't even know that happened until I read the book. I mean, that's so cold.
It is. You're right. It is really solid science fiction. I mean, you can see how they like teleport everywhere. And again, like you said earlier, which we'll get to in a few minutes, the art is stellar and really complements the writing. But it is solid science fiction, and it's pretty easy to follow, albeit, like you said, somewhat generic. Like Rita, the big bad, is, I mean, pretty much generic villain. Like she's not got some complex motivations or anything like that. And in this first book, all the bad guys are woo-ha-ha evil, and the Power Rangers are really good and just trying to save the world. I liked how, in contrast to the show, which was all set, in the city of Angel Grove, in the book, the Power Rangers are all over the world. I mean, they're superheroes literally everywhere. In Italy, they're saving people all over because of the ability to teleport, which was really neat. Yeah,
the most interesting villain was Lord what? Draken?
Yeah, Lord Draken. Yeah.
Lord Draken. He was
he made his debut at the end of this book. And I remember I jumped on this series after the first story arc was out. So it had maybe 6 issues. And I started reading it week to week digitally, which I rarely do, and just fell in love with it. And was immediately an apologist because I was like, everybody has to read this book. It's so good. And when Lord Draken showed up, it was like everything that this is how this whole book is, really. It's everything that I imagined Power Rangers was when I was a kid. This is how I saw Power Rangers as a kid. I saw it as this super serious, awesome superhero fighting show, even though it was really cheesy, but to my 7-year-old mind, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And they have done a great job of taking it seriously enough to make it awesome for adults.
Yeah, it's a serious comic book about them, and it's easy to understand the appeal of them written in this fashion. I mean, I doubt I would have. Well, but when you were 7, I was. What's the math? Like,
I think you're 18.
Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't ready. I wouldn't be watching the show, but it's a serious book. I mean, there's serious problems with real issues going on in it, and the way they solve it and stuff. And I liked how much thinking went into a lot of the solutions. A lot, instead of just strictly fighting, which is what I thought the TV show was. With just them fighting all the time. I have no idea. I mean, I saw probably 30 seconds of an episode. But I like how much strategy and thinking they do to try and get situations under control.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really fun for kids who grew up with the show is Kyle Higgins sprinkles in characters or references to things that happened in later Power Ranger seasons that are just in the book that totally make sense from the story standpoint. Like, do you remember Ninjor? I believe it's in the second book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where Ninjor is the creator of the power coin.
Yeah.
And Jason, alternate universe Jason, goes to him to try to get him to create a new power coin, which he claims he decides to ultimately help him and create the white light and try to create the White Ranger, which Jason was going to be. But then the evil Tommy took it from him. That character was in the Power Rangers movie, the original Power Rangers movie. Nothing to do with that specific story. Similarly, there's a character in that alternate universe named Aisha who was working with Zach as like the coinless is what they called them, the Resistance.
Oh, yeah, the Resistance.
And
that was very cool.
And Aisha, was the Yellow Power Ranger on a later season of Power Rangers, the second or third season of Power Rangers. So it's just like these small things that don't you don't have to know it all to enjoy the story, but if you did watch the show and you're a fan, you'll really appreciate it. So let's jump in to the second book, because we're kind of talking about the Resistance,
Right.
the coinless and all of that. So it kicks off with them being trapped in this alternate dimension, which is ruled by evil Tommy Oliver.
Right.
Who conquered the world with Rita. He was brainwashed, went back to Rita even after he was freed of brainwashing, and eventually conquered the world with her, then turned on her and killed her, and took the white light for himself, which was supposed to be the White Ranger, which was going to be the strongest Ranger to fight against him. And he makes this like merging of the White Ranger and the Green Ranger into his Lord Draken costume. So the Rangers, I thought this part was particularly written well. It really felt almost cinematic to me, this first little arc where it's the Rangers in the main world, all in green, trying to find Billy, who's been captured and is in the dark dimension, fighting against Rita with their backs against the wall. I'm sorry, Billy was in the alternate universe at this point, but it's going back and forth between the regular timeline with the Rangers fighting Goldar, and then the alternate future with Tommy and Billy fighting against Lord Draken. I just thought it was really well done. It was, the coinless was really cool to me. Like
I thought that was really cool. The Resistance fighters. That's when the book really jumped up for me. When
I agree totally.
Resistance fighters against Lord Draken.
That was really, really cool. And how Lord Draken had somehow made it so that like thousands of soldiers could morph. Like his army was all morphed.
Yeah.
I was somewhat cracking up. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. I was cracking up. This cracks me up in anything. In Star Wars, this happens, but right up here. So it's Tommy, and he's looking over his evil army right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, imagine these guys. Like, is that their job, to just stand there all day in formation looking menacing? Like, how long do they have to stand in that position? Very, very unrealistic to me. Yeah, like he walks in, he's like, my army. I'm like, how long have they been standing there? Like, yeah, it's a cool moment, but like, have they just been standing there for 8 hours? Like, boy, I hope we get to do something today. All we ever do is stand here all day, every day, and line up. The same with the stormtroopers. Like, I guess we're just gonna stand around again today and look into it.
Exactly.
But yeah, this story arc was great. So they ultimately bring the original Rangers over, and they combine and beat Lord Draken, and then teleport back to the main timeline. But I guess the energy signatures that they used to teleport back to the main timeline were somehow brought forward Lord Draken to the main timeline. Look how cool he looks there. So cool. So he gets trapped in our timeline, and then we really don't see him for a while. Zordon is like in between time. We got a cool one shot of Zordon. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Where he sees the alternate Zordon, and the alternate Zordon dies. And he can kind of see everything that's going on. And Saba helps. Saba's the saber. He helps tether Zordon. And then they ultimately get back to the main timeline. And really the next big story arc is Zordon's gone. They can't find him. And Finster, the guy who makes the evil monsters, Finster makes these monsters that have human personalities and think they're humans, and then just like randomly will pop up as monsters.
And they're all over the world, and you can't really figure out who they are and when they're going to become a monster.
And which is really scary.
Yeah, because he seeded them all over our Earth, and they explode into monsterhood at like the drop of a hat.
Mm.
And so they need to figure out some way to isolate these guys and stop them before they become monsters and create terror.
And then we get this character who joins them, whose name is Grace Sterling, who drops this bomb. She goes up to the command center of the Rangers and says, yo, I was the Red Ranger.
Right.
And you're like, what? Like this, Kyle Higgins, one of the things he does best in this book is leaves cliffhangers at the end of issues. Like he really draws you in and makes you want to read the next one.
I agree.
He is really good about doing that. So then we get this backstory of Grace and her experience with the first like Rangers, I guess, on Earth that Zordon made. And it was horrible.
I thought that was a good storyline.
Yeah, it was great. So like it
didn't turn out well for her, but it was a good storyline.
Yeah, so it was the moon landing, and we saw that basically she, along with like 4 other people, were chosen to be Power Rangers, but no training.
Right.
No connection to one another. And Zordon's like, look, there's not time. Here's the power. There's the green Psycho Ranger. He's going to revive Rita Repulsa. Go get him. And they go, and like 3 of them get killed.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, that is shocking. Also, it was really funny in that book because she becomes the Red Ranger, and there's a guy who becomes the Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, Pink? Seriously? That was fantastic. But they end up stopping him, and then she's like, hey, let's make the world better now. And Zordon's like, no, you can't keep this power. Like, this was just, like, Zordon, this is where it doesn't really get super philosophical or deep, but there are 2 opposing philosophical views in this book where Zordon's view is, hey, look, we're just here to help defend Earth and to stop evil from killing people. Grace's view is we could make Earth better. Like we could take this power and we could actually help people and do things. And they're both kind of trying to convince Jason, the Red Ranger, of their side of things. So they kind of wrap up by trying to find Finster's monsters, and what Billy discovers while they're doing that is Grace had found Lord Draken and had him in the basement, essentially chained up, and was using him to power their entire operations, the power from inside him.
Mm.
And the Power Rangers are against that. They think it's wrong. And ultimately, Rita returns. She'd been missing since the original Lord Draken incident when the Rangers got back their powers from her. And she returns, and she tells Finster, activate all the hidden monsters. And he activates them. But then, because she didn't know what she was doing, they all kind of poop out. And it ultimately ends with Saba deciding that he's going to go kill Lord Draken.
Saba the Sword?
Yeah, he decides he's going to go kill Lord Draken. He knows where he is. He knows what he's done because he's the only other person from Lord Draken's universe.
Right.
And he shows up and he shoots. There's this awesome encounter where he shows up. He's like, I can't let you live. He shoots. Lord Draken dodges. And then he uses another one of Saba's blasts. Look how just crazy he looks. Uses another of Saba's blast to break his chain. He grabs Saba by the throat hilt thing. And then poor Saba snaps his neck.
Yeah.
Breaks it right off and kills him. And then uses that power to escape. And that's where the story ends in book 2.
And now, will Shattered Grid continue the story?
Shattered Grid, I actually haven't read Shattered Grid yet, all of it. I only read like part of the middle, which is Another story for another. Yeah, it's in.
What way is
I
that?
got confused on what issues I had read already, so I started reading, and I was like, I don't think I'm where I'm supposed to be. This was why I was reading digitally. I was like, I don't think I got the right issues, but it should pick up right after this.
Okay, because I'm emotionally invested in this now, Daniel.
Absolutely, dude. Okay, so that's the story in book 2. What did you think of the story in book 2?
I liked it even better than book 1. I liked Grace showing up and everything. I liked. Let me just look through here. Well, of course, I liked the art. I liked the miniseries of what's the Zordon. I like the miniseries of him being expelled into space time somewhere, and they had to find him.
Yeah.
There was, what I like about it is it wasn't just a one-note book. There were 5 or 6 different interesting things going on at one time, and he organically meshes them together. It wasn't like you were like, oh my God, where am I now? It made sense.
Yeah.
Because you can do that in a lot of books. You'll be like reading something, and then all of a sudden you're in someplace completely different. You're waiting, how did we get here? What's going on here? But this thing weaved together several different storylines really nicely, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I was a huge fan because this was such a mature, and I say mature in, quotes, as in like not kiddie, not as in like X-rated.
Yeah, but it's for grown-ups. I can see that.
Yeah, it was a mature storyline where you get this alternate evil version of Tommy, and he's so powerful and so bad. And it was just, I loved it. I like this one, like you, much more than the first volume.
Yeah.
It just kept getting better. There were some one-shots that I really liked in here, and then some miniseries. I went back and reread these for the show, but I did not go back and reread the miniseries. But I remember the Bulk and Skull miniseries being super lame in the first volume, and in this one there was a few like one-shots that just weren't great.
The ongoing misadventures of Squat and Babu.
That's the one that I remember being like, no.
That felt like filler to me.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling that one at all. The one that I did really like, there was one where like Trini, the Yellow Ranger, meets like a fox, and it was a few ones, but the one that I actually really thought was just almost creepy was the Finster miniseries.
Yeah, Finster.
He brings back the love of his life to life. Like he recreates her. He's like, I am God. And then she is like, what are you doing? Don't do this. This is wrong. And then he's like, no, she would never say that. And then kills her.
Yeah.
And he's like, she was all wrong. Her fingernails were too long. And
yeah, her fingernails. That's exactly right.
It was so creepy and like, oh man, I don't know.
Trini's Vacation was written by Tom Taylor. That's why we liked it.
Oh, there you go. That's the one with the fox, right?
Let's see. No, she's going up. Wait, is it with the fox?
It's like a fox animal who was like over the animals or something. It's been a while.
No, this is when she's beating up blue-faced horned guy.
Oh, okay. I must be thinking of a different one.
Giant blue-faced horned guy whose name I, of course, don't know. But
I'm thinking of A Spot of Trouble, which is one also about Trini, which was written by Marguerite Bennett.
Oh, she's a good writer. I bet I like that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I like Sabrina's Day Out. That was written by Caitlin Kittredge. That's just a real short one.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these were super short, like 4 pages.
Yeah.
But it was very good. Very, very good. Yeah, overall, really, really loved the book. Really loved the series. There's some really great stories that are in here and great. Oh, I know which other miniseries I loved was the Psycho Green.
Yeah, Psycho Green. That was a good one.
That was like, oh man. And what was kind of cool is the Ranger suits. I could be wrong on this, but I believe the Ranger suits that were in that were actual. There was all right. The way the show worked.
We're off the rack from Kmart.
The way that the television show worked was the footage of the Rangers in their suits and the monsters was taken from a Japanese show called Super Sentai.
Oh.
And they recorded the parts outside of the suit. It was really smart because Saban was like, look, they've already done all the expensive part and they'll license us the footage. So we can just, record kids doing the out of suit part, and then we'll save a ton of money on making a show. And that's the formula for all Power Ranger series. All the Power Ranger series, for the most part, have had a Japanese counterpart show they're taking footage from. Well, the suits in that Psycho Green series were from a Japanese show that never got made in America.
Oh, okay.
Just another cool nod, like just that touch of detail that
you're like a Wikipedia living code.
I love Power Rangers.
I know, man. I had no idea what I tapped into when I said I'd do a Power Rangers show with you. I just am. It's remarkable your knowledge of Power Rangers.
Yeah, you had no clue.
No, it's like my knowledge of Batman or Superman, your knowledge of, and I don't even know that I could keep up with you on Batman or Superman compared to what you know.
Oh man, yeah. This Justin Bear says it's way better than the show. I agree. This is really good. There is a series called Go Go Power Rangers, which I've yet to read.
No, you're not a fan.
I know. I'm ashamed of myself. It's my understanding. Maybe someone in the chat can let us know, but it's my understanding that series is a prequel series to these two about before the Green Ranger came at all.
Oh, okay.
Kind of how that first season of the show was.
Now, was there a recent live action movie?
There was I think 4 years ago, they did a live action movie with Elizabeth Banks as Rita, and the actress who played Jasmine in the Aladdin, the new Aladdin movie.
Yeah.
She was the Pink Ranger.
Was that movie any good?
It was way better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it was just entertaining all the way through. I would highly recommend anyone watch it if you just enjoy entertaining films. If you're going into it hoping that it's going to be a Chris Nolan film, you're going to be disappointed. Like, it's not. But it was a very fun, well-made film that I thought worked really well. It had Bryan Cranston in it, who's a really big name actor.
I might watch that.
He plays Zordon, which is pretty cool. But overall, it was a great film. I really enjoyed it. And this series, it just keeps getting better. Everything I've heard from people who've read Shattered Grid is that it just literally just keeps getting better. And so I'm really excited to keep reading. Let's show off a little of the artwork.
Okay.
You like the art, correct?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. And
me too. I thought it worked. What was cool is it's like every character was inspired by the actor on TV that played them, but is not a copy of. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, do you ever read some Star Wars comics where they look exactly like?
Yeah, that creeps me out.
Me too. I don't like it. I don't know why, but I don't like that. So I really liked that, like, Tommy had long hair. Kimberly had brown hair. Jason looks similar. Like, they all look similar, but none of them – that's a cool shot of the Megazord. None of them looked identical. Let's see. Maybe better if I just.
And I liked all the art. I liked a lot of the art in the miniseries. There's a particular artist they picked, and I don't mean to. Well, first of all, here's a really good one from Jorge Corona, who does Middle West and Feathers. I loved his art in this. Jorge Corona wrote it and illustrated it, and his art is crazy good.
It is ridiculously good.
He's good in Feathers and Middle West. Those are two excellent books to read. But then they got probably, I don't know why they got this particular person. I I'm just not a fan of his work, and I don't think it worked in this book.
This was terrible.
He's a popular indie, zine type guy, and that's James Kochalka. I just didn't think this fit in at all.
I totally agree. That was
kind of weird, and I don't mean to bust on him, but I just think he was misplaced.
I totally agree. 100%. Here's a cool splash page.
Now here's a question from Kara. Tyler, what exactly was Alien Rangers?
Alien Rangers of Aquitar was a season of Power Rangers. I believe it was 10 episodes where at the end of one of the seasons, they turned the Power Rangers they reverse time and turn the Power Rangers into kids. And this makes it so that they cannot morph into Power Rangers. But as is shown in these books, Power Rangers, there's a lot more Rangers than just the Rangers on Earth. I mean, we saw the Rangers in the Psycho Green miniseries. There's a lot of Rangers. And there were Rangers on this planet called Aquitar that they just called the Alien Rangers. And they were this race of like underwater breathing Rangers that came to Earth to help defend it while the Power Rangers figured out how to adult themselves, get reverse time back or something.
Oh, okay.
So, and they always talked, they had like weird effects on their voice. It made it sound like it was underwater.
This is from Zach, and I addressed this at the beginning, but I'm happy to address it again. I've never read Power Rangers, so would these deluxe editions be a good jumping on, or do you have any other recommendations? I went to these books knowing nothing about Power Rangers. I knew nothing about who they were, what they did. I had zero idea what was going on, and I thought the book was really good in its accessibility, as we talked about earlier. I think this would be a perfectly good jumping on point for somebody that's interested. I didn't know a thing. I went in cold, and it didn't take me long to get up to speed at all.
And let me just say, if you're at all interested, I'm not one to tell people to rush out and buy books, but this book was extremely pricey before the reprint, and it's going to get really pricey again, I believe. They're doing a reprint in January. I think they announced.
Oh, yeah, so volume 1.
Volume 1. I would not pay eBay prices right now because I believe volume 1, even though it just had a small printing 2 months ago, is back up to decently high prices above cover on eBay. So if you're interested and you can find it cover or below, I would say pick it up, just because I don't know that you're going to be able to pick it up at that price for long, unless they, for some reason, decide to keep it in print or evergreen, which they've not done for any of their books up to this point. So the other interesting thing that there's been 2 other Power Ranger series that I've read that maybe we'll tackle at some point. One is a Power Rangers Justice League crossover.
Really?
There was a 6-issue Justice League Power Ranger crossover that was really fun. It reminded me a lot of, in terms of just tone, of Batman Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And there's a book called Soul of the Dragon, which is Old Man Tommy, essentially, like Old Man Logan, but Old Man Tommy. It's like his last go as a Power Ranger, set way in the future. It's actually, I believe, all in one trade. It's a trade. I don't think it came out in individual issues. I think it's just a trade, but it is super fun, especially if you're a fan of the character of Tommy or the series. I mean, it's set where he's like upper 40s, I think, mid to upper 40s, and battered from being a lifelong Power Ranger. And it's really good. His son goes missing and he's trying to find his son. And he's running down old leads and old monsters and old enemies and new enemies. It was really fun. So those would be 2 other issues I would recommend.
Freddie says it's $99 on CGN, also known as hasn't shipped just as books yet. I did get a notice they finally are shipping me my books. It certainly took them long enough. But I still think that's too expensive. I'd wait for the reprint in January and get it at you know, a much cheaper price.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to get it in January for, assuming that that reprint is actually happening. It's my understanding that it was announced, and I don't know why it wouldn't happen. But like I said, if they reprint it and you're interested, I would definitely pick it up. I mean,
Yeah.
at worst, especially if you get on in-stock trades, worst case scenario, you're not going to lose money on it because you can always sell it for what you paid for.
Yeah. Taylor Brown says Just reading Power Rangers is almost as hard as Gabe loving manga. Yeah, this is one of the oddities of 2019, along with Gabe loving manga, Jess liking Power Rangers.
Who would have thought? So here's a question for you, Jess.
Yeah.
Which do you like better, Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles?
You know, that is a good question because I think that as of right now, I can relate somehow to Power Rangers more. And so I'm really interested in reading Shattered Grid. And as much as I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think I'm favoring Power Rangers over them.
And let me be clear, you love Ninja Turtles. Like you really
do. I do. Yeah.
That is a huge compliment. That's the best news I've ever heard. This just makes me so happy. I'm so glad to know that you enjoy it and that my recommendation did not disappoint you.
No, not at all. I feel that these are good books that regular readers will enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Not having to know a thing about Power Rangers. I certainly never thought I would ever own them. But I'm also very interested in reading Shattered Grid now after what I had to go through to order Shattered Grid, and I almost missed it. So I'm lucky that I got it. So I'm really excited to read it.
Hayden says this isn't DC. They're not going to cancel an announced book. Yeah, you're probably right. You are probably right. So overall, did you find it compelling?
Yeah, I found it compelling enough to keep reading. And I'm very interested in Shattered Grid. I can recommend these books to regular discerning readers. And I found it very compelling, and I can't wait to keep reading. I do have some other stuff I have to read for my end of the year review, but as soon as I'm done with those books, I'm going to read Shattered Grid.
Freddie Alonso is very...
Uh-oh, I made an enemy. We'd be fighting on the playground. I'm just telling you,
so true. This series is an absolute must read if you grew up with the show. Like if you were at all into the show as a kid, like you absolutely have to read this. I give it my highest recommendation. This was my book of the year. I don't remember if it was 2017 or 2016 that it came out, or I discovered it. It was my book of the year that year, and it has only gone up in quality. I found it compelling. I found a lot of the individual issues compelling, which does not happen to me very often in collected editions. Like normally the end of it, I'll be like, okay, that was good. I'd like to read more. But like there was a few issues where it ended, like when Grace was like, I was the Red Ranger. I was like, have to know more, have to read. Like there's got to be more. When Draken shows up for the first time, or, the list goes on and on of big blockbuster shocking moments. Billy and Tommy are blown up in another dimension, and things that you're just like, I have to read more right now. So it was extremely compelling. Good job, Kyle.
Taylor Brown, some things do not need to be mentioned in public, okay? This guy knows my deepest, darkest secrets, and there's absolutely a true statement right there. But I'm reading Saga and Lazarus right now, so I can include them in my end of the year list.
But you know what? 90s X-Force was good. We reviewed it here on the show, and we really enjoyed it.
We did. It was really fun. It was fun. Everything we picked has been fun so far.
Yeah, there really haven't been any duds.
Yeah.
One that we just absolutely hated, and a lot that we loved.
Right. Yeah, from Marvel books to DC books to these independent books, we've really enjoyed a lot of stuff.
So basically, if you want to really hate books, don't watch this show because so far we're reading only good books.
Well, I don't know what this means, but you will know what it means.
Wow. That's a fair point. So Vanilla Ice recorded a song for the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie called Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Oh. I was not aware of that. I barely am aware of Vanilla Ice. Although I do like his one song that rocketed him to fame.
Ice Ice Baby.
I kind of like that song.
All right, stop. It's the Green Machine. We're gonna rock the town without being seen. Have you ever seen a turtle get down? New slam and jam to the new swing sound.
Is that his song?
That is
for
that is the Ninja Turtle song.
Okay, I want to see that movie.
Pretty hilarious. Secret of the Ooze. What a good film. Well, yeah, we love the book. We absolutely love the book. It made my day that you liked it, Jess. I'm very happy about that. As evidence by the shirt.
For what these things cost me, I'm very happy that I like them.
I mean, just look at these figures. So cool.
They are cool.
Hasbro knows how to make them.
Yeah, they sure do. So that's going to be it for this episode of OmniDog and T-Bone's review show. We reviewed Power Rangers. We both, of course, Tyler, of course, loved it because Tyler is obsessed with it. And I was introduced to it, and I liked it a lot also, enough to keep reading it. So we can recommend these books to you wholeheartedly. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to anybody watching this. If you could give the channel a like, subscribe, feel free to leave a comment. We appreciate you all. I appreciate all my viewers and subscribers. There's a lot of you, certainly more than I ever thought I'd get. So I really appreciate it. And peace and love. Peace and love.
We'll see you in 2020.